Testing, testing, 1, 2. Good morning, everybody. I'm not Greg, so. Hi, my name is Paz. I'm the owner of the seed, and I would have to come here and personally introduce Greg Sher, who is the official trainer of the seed. Is also my personal trainer. So he awesome and kicking ass, and I'm in the best shape of my life. So with no further ado, is Greg Sher.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks. Oh, shit. Cool. Okay, good morning. Is this too loud? No, I'm good. All right. So yeah, like he said, my name is Greg. I'm the founder of I Kill Fat. I've been a personal trainer in the city now for close to 6 years. And last March 29th was my 4-year vegan anniversary. So today, thank you. I know. It's one of the best things I've ever done, actually. So yeah, I just want to talk to you guys today about a few things you could do to really up your nutrition game, and that'll obviously translate well into the exercise you do. But more than that, you may find if you take a few things away from your diet or add a few things to your diet, you may just function better, you may be able to focus better, you may just feel better, feel happier, healthier. That's at least what happened to me. That's the feedback I get from a lot of my clients. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. To give you the cliff notes on my backstory, the PG version is I'm an ex-couch potato, junk food enthusiast. I used to weigh 40 pounds more than I do right now. The first time I worked out with my personal trainer, the session lasted about 10 minutes before I was on the ground just waiting for the room to stop spinning because I was in horrible shape. And I was a bit of a hot mess up until about 2008. At the end of 2008, I cleaned up my act a bit. In 2009, I went vegetarian. And I went vegetarian originally because I always loved animals. And I started to realize that consuming thousands of calories a day worth of meat and dairy products did not align with my morals. Plus, the idea to go vegetarian always seemed really appealing to me because I grew up listening to a lot of vegan hardcore bands, believe it or not. For those of you who are unaware of this subgenre of music, I would highly recommend checking it out. If you're on Spotify, I can make you a playlist. You should send me a message. My name is Greg W. Sher on Spotify. I'll hook you up. But anyway, I just remember back in the day as a teenager going to these shows, listening to the CDs in my bedroom. And that's how old I am. I own about 500 CDs. And I vividly remember flipping through the CD booklets of these bands, and it said in the print, this band supports the animal rights movement. So-and-so supports PETA. This band, they're all vegetarians. And I just remember thinking this is very interesting because seeing these bands live, through my fragile suburbanite teenage eyes, they seemed pretty intense and pretty tough. And, in hindsight, it was kind of intimidating at the time. So I just found it very interesting that they were as tough as they were compassionate. They were as macho as they were caring. It just struck me as a very interesting mix of character traits. I was very intrigued. So the idea, or the seed, was planted long ago to go vegetarian. I just didn't act on it until my mid-20s, but better late than never. So fast forward to the summer of 2009, and I swore off all meat and most dairy, and it struck my system like a lightning bolt, like in a good way. I remember I dropped 5 pounds in the first week of going vegetarian, which was pretty sweet because I needed it at the time. My energy levels went through the roof. I mean, it felt like I was 12 years old again. I had a considerable increase in stamina and endurance, inside and outside of the gym. So it was like, not only were my workouts longer and more efficient, I also didn't depend on Starbucks 3 times a day with my nap. So, these were all nice surprises. It was funny because, I was doing the vegetarian thing for ethical reasons. I was not anticipating to feel like Superman and, think with a mental tranquility that I didn't have for a while. So that's when I said to myself, if I feel this good on the vegetarian diet, I should probably go all in and just do full-on vegan. So after dabbling in vegetarianism for a few months and learning up on how much healthier it was for the human body to adopt a vegan diet, that in March of 2010, I went fully vegan. And my vegan anniversary happens to be Passover. The last non-vegan thing I ever ate was a bowl of my grandma's matzo ball soup. And I kind of used that bowl of Grandma Sylvia's matzo ball soup as like a marker. That was like the end of me being an unconscious eater and the start of a much healthier and happier life. So, a few months passed since that bowl of matzo ball soup. Started to feel very confident in encouraging my clients to go vegan. And it certainly wasn't to preach my beliefs to them or anything. It was just that I knew the most efficient way to lower blood pressure, lower cholesterol levels, boost energy, melt body fat, and feel amazing was through a plant-based diet. And since I was typically the first person to ever, introduce the idea of going vegan to them, when they finally tried it and, a week or two passed and they started to feel and see results, they came back looking at me like I was some sort of genius fitness guru because, they had never even toyed with the idea of adopting a vegan diet. So it made me look like a genius. Really, the information was out there. They could have just Googled it. But because I brought it to their attention, it made me look that much better. And since their success is my success, totally works out for both parties. So I feel like, there's a few things you could do to really up your fitness game. I could speak from personal experience. When I cut out sugar, that's when I really stepped my game up. I became a slightly more productive member of society. I didn't depend on naps and stuff. This was much harder to do than anticipated because I realized there was hidden sugar in like everything. Depending on what brand you're using, there can be an insane amount of sugar in your soy milk, your cereal, your tomato sauce, most notably your health food products. A lot of these so-called health bars and health drinks on the market are loaded with processed sugar. And I find this to be, pretty screwed up since there's a lot of people out there trying to do the right things by buying these foods that are marketed as healthy, but really they're not so healthy because they're loaded with sugar. So what these people do is they end up inadvertently sabotaging their fitness goals. I mean, if you read the nutritional data to a lot of these bars on the market, a lot of them have just as much sugar in them as a candy bar. And it's like this with weight gain and sugar. If you consume anything that has more than about 5 grams of sugar in it per serving, you store those excess calories as body fat. Plus, when you consume that much sugar, your blood sugar levels elevate, and then a hormone in your brain called dopamine is released, and that's what gives you that sugar high. So when you're having a chocolate peanut butter bomb or like a cupcake and you're like loving your life when you eat this food because it feels amazing, or like when Homer Simpson has a donut and his eyes roll to the back of his head and he starts drooling on himself, that's because dopamine is being secreted in Homer Simpson's brain like there's no tomorrow because his blood sugar levels just went through the roof thanks to that donut. But of course, what happens an hour or so later when your blood sugar levels go way down again, it's like your body's in the dumps, you're experiencing that sugar crash, you feel really low, and then you start to crave more sugar to equal yourself out again. And that's how you get addicted to sugar. In fact, Dr. Robert Lustig, who's an endocrinologist, he was doing this interview with 60 Minutes a few years ago, and during this interview he said, not only is sugar the leading cause of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and obesity in America, it's just as addictive as cocaine. I don't know if anybody in here has ever dabbled in cocaine before. No need to raise your hand, but it's very addicting. So that's why, in my opinion, sugar is the main culprit behind the obesity problem in America. We're addicted to foods that keep us fat. That's pretty screwed up. So, as a rule of thumb, if it's in a wrapper, chances are it's not great for you if it has more than 10 grams of sugar. 5 grams of sugar is the golden number. You keep it below 5, you're golden. But 10 is okay, I guess. So, by the way, when I say keep it below 5 grams, fruit is excluded from that list. I know there's a lot of sugar found in fruit. That's fructose. Those are natural sugars. They're slow digesting sugars, so they don't provoke a spike in your blood sugar levels. Plus, when you consume the fructose found in fruit, you're getting the whole meal that comes with the fruit. So you're getting the vitamins, the minerals, the water, the fiber, the antioxidants, the digestive enzymes, the good stuff. That's why nobody ever gets fat off of eating fruit. It's the processed sugars that are the real issue. Those are the sugars that have been stripped of all their nutritional value and are just used as sweeteners. So fruit's fine, have as much fruit as you want. Veggies are fine too, have as much veggies as you want. My favorite protein bar on the market is hands down Simply Bars. I think Simply Bars are the best. They're low in calories, high in fiber, high in protein, and they have less than 5 grams of sugar in them per serving. So they've got my name written all over it. I think they taste the best. They just came out with a new flavor a few months ago, maple pecan. It's really good. My clients love them. I love them. It's just the one I recommend the most. So, that's just a very good protein-packed, nutrient-dense, plant-based, portable food. I love Simply Bars. And just so I could go on record and say this, I'm not saying you can't ever have a rescue chocolate bar ever again, or like some candy. It's like a lot of things, fine in moderation. I'm just not one of those personal trainers to have outrageous expectations with their clients where I'm expecting them to be good 24/7. The truth is, you don't have to be good like all the time. If you eat clean 5 days in a row, and then on the 6th and or 7th day, you have a small cheat meal, not 5 margaritas and an enchilada or anything, but something very small, just so you feel human, just so you don't resent training, your body bounces back into fat burning and muscle building in no time. So this is why when I check my clients' calories on online food journals, and I see Monday through Friday they eat super clean, they're within their daily caloric budget, they're doing the cardio I tell them to do, and then when Saturday rolls around, they have some Lula's, the ice cream from 6th Street, or the chickpea fries from Peace Foods. It's all good as long as you get back into a good groove come the following day. I guess who I'm really trying to target right now are the people who are unknowingly consuming massive amounts of sugar, like the average American who consumes about 22 teaspoons of sugar every single day, which is nuts. If you're consuming that much sugar, you're definitely going to hinder your progress towards your fitness goals. So, when you guys go home today, if you remember, go through the food in your kitchen and see how many grams of sugar is in the food that you have in the fridge. I mean, check your yogurt, the sauce, the milk, the cereal. It's crazy. Like, when I found out about this, my wife and I pretty much cleaned out all the cabinets in the kitchen because we were both consuming about 100 grams of sugar every single day. It was crazy. So just be on the lookout of hidden sugar. It's like everywhere. Something, by the way, that's just as bad as processed sugar, in my opinion, is definitely whole wheat. And I feel like this is a big mistake I see amongst vegetarians in particular. It's a mistake I made for years, so it's kind of therapeutic to get off my chest. I feel like we load up on whole wheat for many reasons, or the big one is the convenience factor. In this city alone, you can't throw a rock without hitting a bagel shop. There are those, and every single bagel shop is advertised as the world's greatest bagel shop, so it's hard to pass up if you're in the mood for bagels. Plus, there are those dollar pizza joints all over the place. Subway has those $5 veggie footlongs, which look gross, but they're $5, so it's like I understand why you would eat it. Plus, when I went vegan, I was pretty stoked to find out I could still have wheat thins. But wheat is an unhealthy choice because wheat keeps us fat. Wheat has a very high glycemic index rating. So what that means, without geeking out too much, is that when you consume these wheat carbs, your blood sugar levels rise very drastically. Your body is only temporarily satisfied for a short amount of time. And then, of course, an hour or so later, when your blood sugar levels go way down again, you start to crave more wheat since it was the wheat that screwed you up this time. So this is why, looking back on it, it's funny. Every morning before I went to school, I had a bagel. That was just my thing. I had a bagel every single morning for years. So I'd wake up, have the bagel. An hour later, I was ravenous. Looking back on it, that's due to the high glycemic index rating of wheat. In fact, there's an awesome book out there called Wheat Belly by William Davis. I would definitely recommend that one. It's one I recommended to my clients. You may want to check it out. I found it to be very eye-opening. Davis goes into detail about this. He goes into the glycemic index rating of wheat. And he basically goes into the fact that, there's been studies done that confirm people who eat diets high in wheat tend to eat more calories per day than people on a non-wheat diet. So that will obviously lead to weight gain. So if you're one of those people that likes bagels and toast for breakfast, you should try looking into some wheat-free brands. I know Manna Organics makes wheat-free bread. Food for Life also makes wheat-free bread. Something better than that, it may taste better in my opinion. Just try switching to something way more nutrient dense, and you'll see you'll feel fuller for longer if instead of the bagel and toast, you have something like a tofu scramble, oatmeal, or a protein shake. I've had a protein shake every single day ever since my father-in-law got me a Vitamix a few years ago for a housewarming present. That's my thing. I just love protein shakes so much because it's like the fruit satisfies my sweet tooth, and the protein powder I put in the shake, it's very nutrient dense, so it keeps me fuller for longer. I wanted to talk about protein today. I mean, being that I'm in a room surrounded by vegans and vegetarians, I'm assuming I'm not the only one that's ever been asked where you get your protein from before, right? Okay, good. This is really good for me because I'm always the lone vegan guy in all the gyms, so you can relate. Protein is very important, obviously. For those of you who don't know why, when you exercise, you create micro tears in your muscles. The amino acids your body gets when it breaks down protein helps repair these tears. So protein helps aid in muscle growth, muscle recovery, muscle soreness. I'm obviously a huge advocate of plant-based protein. One of the many reasons for this are the alkaline-forming properties found in plant-based proteins. The body's natural pH is slightly alkaline, so I think it's very important to eat a diet that complements this. Diets high in alkalinity, which are mostly the plant-based stuff, these are the diets that have been shown to increase your body's ability to absorb nutrients. It also helps your body absorb oxygen. So, whether you live a sedentary lifestyle or you're one of those people who cycles for 8 hours a day, you're definitely going to perform your daily duties better on a plant-based diet. The other stuff, meat and dairy foods, if you want to call it that, those are the diets high in acidity. The acid-forming properties found in the meat and dairy diet, those are the diets that have been shown to increase fatigue, decrease the body's ability to absorb nutrients, and plus they've been linked to, cancer. So just think about how counterproductive that could be if you just bust your ass in the gym during this hardcore workout, and then for a post-recovery meal you have something like steak. You're just giving your body more work to do. It's gonna cost your body more calories to excrete that stuff before it does any damage. Whereas you will undoubtedly return back to homeostasis after a workout if you have the plant-based proteins. So it's better to get your nutrients through whole foods, by the way. I work out a lot of times in between my clients, so I don't really have time to go to Blossom or Candle 79 and drop $100, order a 4-course meal every time I work out. So I carry around protein powders with me. Protein powders are just very fast, easy, and economical. My favorite protein powder on the market happens to be Plant Fusion. That's just my go-to. It's low in calories, high in protein, so there's no wheat or soy in it. And the few grams of sugar that's found in a serving of Plant Fusion comes from fructose. You know, those natural sugars. So I also love Vega protein, by the way. Vega tastes awesome. It also comes with branched chain amino acids. The BCAAs that the Vega powder comes with just kind of help speed up the recovery process. So I love Vega. I also really love hemp protein. Hemp protein is awesome for a million reasons. One, it's packed with fiber, so you'll feel fuller for longer when you have it. It's rich in omega-3s, so that's really good for lowering blood pressure, cholesterol levels. Hemp protein has been shown to increase immunity, so it's really great. You may not love the taste of it. I would recommend maybe starting off with the Nativa brand. That's my personal favorite. I just think it tastes the best. May want to start with that one. Just throwing it out there. So yeah, I'm a bit of a protein powder connoisseur. Protein is not the problem. I don't even know where that question came from. It's just not an issue. Like I'd say the biggest issue with being vegan is dealing with the world around us that is not vegan. It's certainly not my protein intake. On a given day, I'll consume well over 100 grams of protein without even thinking about it, because I eat a lot of foods rich in protein, like nuts, tempeh, tabbouleh, oatmeal, brown rice, quinoa, whatever. All plants have protein. If somebody asks you where you get your protein from, feel free to tell them a lot of these plants have a higher protein density than something beefy, too. Like steak, for example, has about 5 grams of protein in it per 100 calorie servings. Okay? Broccoli has about 11 grams of protein in it per 100 calories. Plus, you're not going to get a bunch of saturated fat when you have broccoli. So that's a plus. The darker the green, the more nutritional value to that food. So next time you swing through Chopped, make sure you load up on the kale or the spinach over the iceberg lettuce. On top of protein, the dark leafy greens have a high concentration of iron. Iron is a crucial mineral. Iron's main function is to help transport oxygenated blood to all the cells in the body. It also helps aid in the production of red blood cells. So don't skip out on your dark leafy greens is what I'm trying to say. Protein is not an issue. B12 is like the one issue in terms of like vitamins. There's just not a lot of options for us plant-based people. I personally get my B12 through nutritional yeast. It's just something I put in my shake every day. It's like clockwork. I don't really think much about it. I feel like because you only need about 2.4 micrograms of it per day and it's only one vitamin, you may think you could get away without taking it. Definitely don't skip out on it. B12 helps aid in all the metabolism of all the cells in the body. It also helps aid in brain function, energy levels, and it's been shown to decrease the risk of heart disease. So don't skip out on B12. Me personally, I like nutritional yeast. I know some people who really like the sublingual tablets. You place the tablet underneath the tongue, it dissolves into the blood vessels that lay underneath the tongue, and just goes right into the bloodstream. So that's cool. You can also get B12 through seaweed, which is kind of cool. I was anticipating my first side dish of seaweed to taste like the bottom of a pond or something. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised. It actually tastes pretty good. The first time I got seaweed, it was at Angelica Kitchen down on 12th Street. It was just really good. I didn't know seaweed could taste that good. Also, I really like the seaweed they have at Jiva Mukti in Union Square. So they have good seafood, or seaweed. Plus, if you eat in the cafe, you're probably going to see Russell Simmons. That's exciting to me. He's there like every single time I go. I don't know why. But yeah, so that's how you get your B12. And one thing you could totally add today if you're not doing this is omega-3s. Omega-3s are huge. Omega-3s help aid in lowering blood pressure, lowering cholesterol levels. The biggest impact omega-3s had for me was that it reduced the inflammation of my joints, which changed my life. I used to do martial arts for a number of years, so my joints kind of got tweaked around a little bit. Plus, I just never took care of my body for the first 20-something years of my life. So when I finally did start to lift, my knees would ache like crazy for days, as would my elbows and my shoulders. I personally started to take chia seeds in order to get my omega-3s, and the pain in my joints magically went away. So I'm like a walking spokesperson for chia seeds now. If you're one of those people who has achy joints, definitely look into some plant-based options for your omega-3s. Foods like flax seeds, walnuts, hemp protein, of course chia seeds are my favorite. Here's what I like about chia seeds, all right? They're odorless, they're flavorless, so you don't even know they're there. You kind of just consume them. Very economical. You only need about a teaspoon a day. $20, you get a bag that lasts you for about a month. And it's just the way to go in my opinion. I feel like a lot of people think the only way you could get your omega-3s is through eating seafood like salmon. That's totally incorrect. I don't like eating fish for a number of reasons. I mean, one of them I just think is wrong, but for two, there's been so many cases of people ending up in the emergency rooms late night with fish bones caught in their windpipes. And plus, a lot of these fish have a high concentration of mercury. You eat enough mercury, you're probably going to get brain damage. So that's why I always say, leave the fish alone. You should just eat the foods that the earth grew for us in the first place, and you'll be golden. So no matter what your exercise is, whether you're a power lifter, a boxer, a yogi, or a runner, or whatever, definitely going to need joint support. I would recommend plant-based options to get your omega-3s. So those are some nutritional tips that have really helped me out wonders. They've helped my clients out quite a bit. There's a few websites that have been making staying in shape easier and more entertaining at times. One website that I came across a few years ago that really helped me stay on track was Menu Pages. I think this website is awesome. With Menu Pages, you could scope out the menu of the restaurant you're going to before you even leave your apartment. Even though that may not sound too cool now that I just said it out loud, a common complaint I got with my clients when they first started to work with me was that they were killing it with me in the gym, and they were doing awesome outside of my supervision, and then of course their friends called them up for dinner, and in one dinner they just fell right off the wagon. I understand, it's like, you know, you sit down with your friends, they're talking your ear off, you're looking at an unfamiliar menu, so by the time the waiter rolls around, you may order something without thinking about it, like a Philly cheesesteak or something crazy like that, or a cheeseburger or whatever. You're way more likely to order the healthy option if you pick it out before you even sit down at the table. And, you know, you don't want to negate your workouts. Like, picture this. You run for 5 miles Saturday morning, okay? It takes you about 45 minutes. It was hard as hell, but you feel amazing that it's over. You burn about 500 calories. You just started off the day in a big deficit, you know, feeling really good. And then you go out to dinner and you order like a cheeseburger. There's like 1,000 calories worth of crap in that cheeseburger. So you just negated your run. So it's like you didn't even run for 45 minutes. You didn't even burn 500 calories. You're underneath about 1,000 calories worth of crap from this one dinner. With Menu Pages, you could pick the healthy option before you sit down to dinner. I think it's the way to go. A lot of my clients text me the restaurant they're going to, and they ask me, you know, what could I have? What's the best option? I'm on Menu Pages looking at the menu, and I text them back, order the fluffy quinoa salad, don't do anything crazy. So I use it for my business. It's helped me quite a bit stay on track. Love Menu Pages. I also am a huge fan of Happy Cow. Happy Cow, you've heard of this? For those of you who don't know, with Happy Cow, it uses a GPS, and it tells you of all the vegan-friendly options in your neighborhood. So this is huge for me. A lot of my clients travel for work, and they use Happy Cow. You know, when my wife and I went to Hawaii for 2 weeks, we used Happy Cow quite a bit. It saved us from eating nothing but Thai food 24/7, so we gave it good reviews. And if you guys are out-of-towners, you should go on Happy Cow. You'll see you're not far away from Wild Ginger on Broome Street. You may want to check that out. So those are a few websites. I have a website, just in case you're wondering, ikillfat.com. Check it out. There's a few ebooks you could download on there for free. And if anybody wants to work with a personal trainer who's plant-based, I'd love to hear from you. And really can't thank Paz for having me. It's an honor to be here. I would have came no matter what. I'm a huge fan of The Seed. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. Really appreciate it. And enjoy the rest of The Seed. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy.